So first off, guys, this is a show here for Ungating with Amazon. I've got Brandon in the house here. He's a good friend of mine. He's a reseller as well. He does Ungating. And before we actually get to Brandon and the what he does, what services he offers, I'm going to do a quick presentation for you guys to give you my thoughts and input on the on pretty much Ungating, right? And here we go. Let me see. Can we all see this? Brandon, can you see this? Does this look good to you? Is there anything in the way?
Yep.
Okay.
I had some orange box there, but it disappeared.
Okay, awesome. All right. So, obviously we're here to talk about Amazon FBA and Ungating for sure. As you guys know, I'm a big advocate of Amazon FBA. It's a great opportunity to sell. And like anything else, if you're new to Amazon FBA, you might get into Amazon and you might start sourcing books. You might start sourcing thrift store stuff. Maybe stuff around your house. So really what we're trying to do here is we're going to kind of level you up, right? Maybe you're new. Maybe you're going, hey, I'd like to be ungated in clothing. I might want to get ungated in, some of these shoes and luggage. There's a lot of opportunity here. And I'm going to kind of briefly just talk about this here. So here we're going to dive right in. What is ungating? On Amazon, certain product categories need approval in order for you to sell in them. So basically restricted categories, guys. Ungating is a process of getting you approved to sell in those restricted categories. Pretty basic. So once you're ungated, you have full access to these categories. Now, this is very important what I'm going to talk about next, guys, and it's pretty much the door can be closed tomorrow. I really want to strike this home to you guys because we're talking about ungating categories where you can go in and you can start listing things and start selling things, and there's a lot of amazing opportunities with that. But at any given time, it's Amazon's sandbox. It's their rules. And right now, you have to apply and get approved in order to sell those categories. From my experience, from what I'm seeing, and they're hammering down a lot of these categories, this can turn off tomorrow, guys. They might just lock down clothing. So, there is no guarantee on how long Amazon will keep these categories available for people to apply. And there also come a time when they'll just lock them down and make the approval process almost impossible. Or just lock it down, period, and only major manufacturers can do that. So this is really the urgency of why this opportunity is right now. It's not 6 months from now. Things can change in 6 months. So if you're really looking at this and going, yeah, I want to start sourcing product. I maybe want to create my own products and get into these here. Right now it's so important to do this because you can obviously maximize your profit potential, your growth potential.
Yeah, I was telling Michael, we've already seen signs of that. You want to go back. I've been hearing about bundling or multi-packs, or you're only allowed to list ones that the manufacturer created. So if you have like a pack of 5, the manufacturer had to literally put that 5-pack together and have its branding wrapped around all 5.
Yeah, and that's crazy. I mean, they're constantly changing things. And, your experience here, Brandon, we're going to talk more about what you can do here, but your overall thought process on this. I mean, the door can actually be closed here pretty soon, couldn't it? I mean, it's not realistic for me to say, and I'm not trying to scare people.
with the DVD fiasco right now, the people that were applying to get ungated and the $35 or over would tell Amazon, I'm going to sell Spider-Man DVD, for example, and they make you list like 5 products or however many it was in the DVD process. And then they come back a few weeks later and say, well, you're not selling Spider-Man, and they'll lock you back down. I haven't heard about that in clothing or anything like that, but it could happen.
So is it possible that somebody can get ungated in clothing, and if they're not active, that they can be booted out?
I've actually heard that recently on the forums, that somebody didn't list something since being ungated, and 3 months later they're regated.
Yeah, that's huge because
point, but
so that's huge. So like if you're going to go through an ungating service or go through that process, be active. Go in there and say, hey, I'm going to shell out money to get ungated. So take it seriously. There's a lot of talk on the internet these days, and people are like, yeah, I'm ungating clothing, and you hear from them 6 months later, and they're like, I've never sold anything in clothing. So why did you get ungated? You know what I mean? And that's where I start to hear I start to see that red flag where it's like, oh, you know what? It's just a matter of time. And then there's other tactics involved, and I'm not trying to get into the tactics, but maybe Brandon, as we move down here, we can kind of talk about your process compared to other people's processes, because some of these other people are really, I mean, they're submitting the same files, and you're not doing that. I know we're kind of getting premature into this here, but I think it'd be good to kind of talk about that really fast, is that there's other people's processes where they're just sending everybody the same file. You're not doing that, right?
Yeah, it's the same file product. I've been worried about that for a lot of ungating services, but I heard one guy in particular is just sending everybody the same flat file, has the same 5 products with the same variations on it. You can't imagine that Amazon's very happy about that. Wouldn't be too hard to catch people with a small algorithm and lock people back down. That might even come to play eventually, because Amazon has this there for a reason. They want you to learn flat files for a reason. And if you could just pay to bypass the gate, they can't be happy about that, in my opinion.
I mean, there's a reason why they have them gated to begin with, right? I mean, they want people in there that know what they're doing, but they also don't want the masses in, right?
Yeah, I'm guessing, yeah.
I mean, it's got to be like toys with like merchant fulfilling. If you're
Amazon never comes out and says why they want to do something, they just create a new policy to guide sellers in the direction they want them to go in.
So, and that's why I mean, guys, I personally
go ahead, dude. Huge opportunity right now, because not a lot of people know how to get past these gates, especially flat file gates. So there's not a whole lot of competition in these categories right now. Perfect time.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I mean, this is why, and I'll talk about this here a little bit later, but the big thing for me was I tried to get ungated. I tried to mess with the flat files 4 times, denied every time. And then when Brandon was offering a service, I said, "Hey, can you help me?" And it was smooth sailing, really. I mean, it was amazing. It was nothing. I was looking forward to that email I got for a good couple years that I'm approved in clothing, because I know the potential, And when
it's like a job interview. You gotta fib a little bit and sell yourself to Amazon, especially right when you request approval. There's a questionnaire. And the same as you, like last year I got denied into clothing because I answered the questionnaire wrong.
Yeah, and obviously that's what I was doing wrong too, and I didn't have the specs, and that's where you have the knowledge base, and now you know how to do this, and it's incredible.
Yeah. So, what's your next bullet point?
All right. So the next one here, guys, is this. Obviously, we were kind of talking about this, the advantages. Okay, they're huge. I mean, I can't stress this enough. Higher ROIs and obviously profit. Limited competition, less racing to the bottom. You're not going to experience a lot of this racing to the bottom, especially if you're an Amazon seller now and you're messing with FBA and you're going after a lot of the stuff that's at Targets, the Walmarts, the stuff that is like toys, or maybe even clearance stuff at Big Lots. You'll start to see there's a race to the bottom, right? I've found from my experience since I've been ungated in a lot of these categories that it's not the case. There's really zero competition. Most listings have no FBA sellers, guys. Or basically, there might be, let's take, for example, a clothing T-shirt. There might be only one seller on that Spider-Man shirt selling it large, but you have access to it in small, medium, extra large, right, Brandon?
Right. There's competition there, but there's so many variations. If you multiply the amount of colors by the amount of sizes, and then you take into consideration that some people, most people in those categories are merchant fulfilling, so you got FBA and merchant fulfilled times all the colors times all the sizes. More often than not, most of the stuff I come across, somebody else is on the listing, but they're not on my particular size or not on my particular color, or both.
Mm-hmm.
Or if they are, they're merchant fulfilling it. I mean, there's like 80% of the stuff I come across has nobody on the listing for FBA. It's wide open.
Yeah, it's completely wide open, and there's a huge difference between merchant fulfilled and FBA. I mean, I could say this, I could swear to it to all you guys. People prefer FBA. People prefer Prime, and like I said, I mean, I'll sell 100 things Prime compared to one person selling merchant fulfilled, unless they're lowballing, right? But these people with the clothing on some of these categories that I'm looking at and I'm experiencing it. I mean, nobody's trying to race to the bottom. They're not just trying to give away their stuff. They're not trying to get a 20% ROI. These ROIs are huge, guys, and it's just about finding the opportunities. Now, Brandon, I mean, obviously there's existing product in the catalog for all of these, whether it's shoes or it's handbags or clothing or luggage, right? What's your opinion? Because my opinion is the advantage here that I see over the long term is the new products, the new listings, bringing new stuff to the catalog. What's your thoughts on that, man?
Oh, that's what I'm mostly focusing on right now. Oh gosh, it's hard to give a percentage, but it just seems like half the stuff or more than half the stuff I come across is not in the catalog. And that's another thing. The certain scanning apps won't even bring up the product. So it's really hard to source in the field. There's little tricks to that. Certain apps, Profit Bandit won't show rank, but more often than not, it's not even in the catalog. Or you'll find something that has just enough of a variation where you can't list it on that one. So you have to literally get on that other listing as a variation. Yeah, tons and stuff. It's not hard to find new product at all that's not in the catalog. So you'll have the listing all to yourself if you just add a listing, add a product to the catalog. And it's real limited on going through Seller Central. So that's why they want you to do the flat files.
Now, can you talk about?
The first thing you'll notice when you start to list is, you only get a few categories that you're even allowed to pop up in, whereas on the flat file you can pop up in any category you want. Categories go deep. For
sure. So, for the people out there right now going, "What's a flat file?" Can you talk about a flat file? What it is? What's the whole meaning of it? What's the process like? Because to somebody who's new and they're interested in this, they're going to go, "Well, what's a flat file?" I mean, do I just fax something over to Amazon?
I don't think it'd be as scary to people, and they wouldn't be afraid to open it up and take a look if they just call it a spreadsheet, and that's all it is.
Yeah,
an elaborate spreadsheet. And before you actually submit it and upload it to Amazon, you convert it to a comma delimited text file. So basically, you just strip all the cells out of a spreadsheet into a text file, and that's what a flat file is. It's just information going to a database. It's the bridge.
Yeah, but, and that's what you need to get approved, right? You need that to get approved, and then because you maybe talk about your service real quick, Brandon, in terms of the stuff that we're talking about getting ungated at. We're not talking about ungating people in grocery or health and beauty. Only flat file, right?
Right. Yeah, that's the only ones I supported. I actually paid to get in clothing myself, and after that, it was a hefty chunk of change. I think I paid $375 quite a few months ago. And then I wanted to get in shoes. I found a lot of shoe deals at Sam's Club and Costco. I was going through there with huge ROIs. I was like, I need to add this stuff. So I went back to the same people, same Ungating service, and like, can you get me in shoes for a discount? I just paid you $400 for clothing. And they basically just turned their backs on me like, no, sorry, we're busy. Well, what about in 3 weeks from now, a month from now, you find some time, can you give me a discount? I already used your service. I've been talking about it and praising you out in the community, and nope. They just stopped talking to me, stopped PMing me. Wow. I ask a question about how to list in those categories or just simple stuff, and no answer back whatsoever. So that just kind of lit the fire under my ass to get busy and figure it out myself. And I was finding I was helping other people with it, and the next thing I knew, was like, well, this is taking up all my time. Maybe I should get a service. It really is complex, and every other day I'm making listings myself, and I'm running into roadblocks. I got to call Seller Central all the time. I'm getting questions all the time. I got to sit on calls with Seller Central to figure out. The main one is trying to list on somebody else's listing. Somebody's got all the color and variations already, and you want to put your product on there, to get all the views. It's already ranked high in the Amazon search. That's a real complicated process. So basically my service just set out to overcome those obstacles, to help people with those problems. Nobody else was doing it.
And that's really the biggest advantage here. I mean, your price points are definitely in line for the services to get people ungated, and you're personable. I mean, people ask you questions, you get back to them. I mean, it's that simple.
I basically help you to get into 3 categories. I mean, I could do it for you, but you're missing out on a big opportunity on listing in these categories. That's huge. Adding new products, especially, and cheaper than one service for another Ungating service for one of their services. I help you get into 3. for a lower price than what they're charging.
And with your Facebook group, I mean, it's awesome in there. I mean, people love it. I mean, you're doing these Zoom casts like we're doing right now, and you're walking people through the process. But you also have you have a database of videos you've got on there, right?
Yeah, I've been recording videos. I'm gonna eventually get a course up on Udemy to help people, but right now it's more structured as a classroom. As people trickle in slowly, because it was a real big fad, probably because of the Q4 madness of everybody driving the price down.
Yeah.
65% year over year. Amazon came out and said after Q4 that 65% more FBA sellers than last year, and they expect that year after year. So a lot of people were speculation here, running out to get Ungated to get away from the competition, and as well as a New Year's resolution, trying something different. It was a real big fad for the first couple of months. It's been trickling off, and now I just help people one-on-one or two-on-one.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's big potential. I mean, I think there are people that are getting Ungated right now that they just might not ever dabble in it. They're just never going to dabble in it. They just want to be saying, hey, yeah, I'm Ungated in all these categories. They're never going to really go in depth with these. And that's where, like with me, when I said, hey, I want clothing, and Brandon hooked me up, and I'm Ungated, and I mean, I'm not going to stop. I mean, I'm going to go, up to the ceiling and see where it takes me. And I love the Q4 experience with Amazon. Selling some of these hot toys and selling stuff that you may have picked throughout all year that go for premium. But I think there's a lot of opportunity throughout the year for sure, especially at higher ROIs than the typical stuff that people might be getting into right now, where it's the basic retail ARB, or maybe even the bundling. There's a lot of misconceptions with things. And
I like the bundling right now.
Yeah. I mean, the bundling right now.
Coming up, I've been selling stuff for insane prices on accident. I was creating some listings for some people, helping people out, adding variations to another listing. And so I put this clothing set, looked like an Easter little toddler's clothing button-up shirt and short set. So I put $150 on this so the guy could find the listing, to that particular size and get on there. Well, I forgot about it, and 2 weeks later, somebody purchased it for $150. This was Carter's Clothing. I mean, Carter's Clothing is typically $12.95 a piece. So there's $25 worth of clothing that's sold for $150. So clothing sells all year round.
Yeah. And it's the whole thing too. It's the convenience factor. Prime members, obviously there's people that are savvy on there. They're looking for a deal. Then there's people that are just all about convenience. There are people that just go, yes, okay, yes, Kenneth Cole shirt, done, right? Pair of Levi's socks or Levi's pants, yes, I don't mind paying $10 more than I can get them at the store or the mall. Convenience is huge, guys. And there's a lot of people out there that value their time, and it's so much easier for them just to order everything they need, whether it's toilet paper, toothpaste, boxer shorts, or a toy for the grandkid, right, Brandon? I mean, that's what the reality is of Amazon, and that's why they're so powerful and so big. And we live in an opportunity right now where we can explore this and be a part of it. And if you're not looking at other opportunities or staying ahead of the curve, especially, you might put yourself in a situation where you're buying into some of these other products where you're dealing with thousands of sellers on the listing. And you've seen this effect. If you guys have been following me for a while and you've been selling on Amazon, you'll see these things where like, oh, I bought it and the rank looked good, the price looked good, but once it got there, you, Johnny, Billy, Tommy, and everybody else got there too, and repricer wars and the whole 9 yards. This doesn't happen with what we're doing here, guys. I mean, wouldn't you agree too, Brandon? I mean, you're a seller too, Brandon. So I mean,
I'm guessing eventually we'll get to that point. But yeah, this gate's so hard to get past for most people that it might be a while. It'd be a long while, hopefully. But like as anything, I missed the .com era. Looking back, I was like, man, I was right there. If I would have just paid attention, this might be the opportunity. Look around, build a foundation right now while there's very few sellers in there. Be on top when they all come in. Yeah, make the money now, and then when they come in, you have a game plan for that, and say, okay, in the back of your mind, hey, this isn't I'm going to ride this storm for 20 years. I mean, I remember selling toys, and oh my gosh, I mean, I was the only seller on some of these things.
and then they just started coming. I mean, they come. I mean, people will start showing up, but you know, you have obviously need to have that in your business plan when you're doing anything. You know, what happens when the competition comes? Maybe you're onto something else. Maybe you're importing your own scarves and creating it where nobody can touch you. You got a private label clothing brand that it's just unstoppable. You know, nobody can stop you. But you know, there's ways right now, guys, to shop online and in store to find some of these stuff that under these gated categories we're showing you right here. Clothing and accessories is one. Shoes, handbags, and sunglasses. Luggage and travel accessories. You know, this is what Brandon does. Uses the flat file to get you ungated in all these. And you know, just imagine these categories here. You got to say to yourself, where can I get these, Mike? Well, think about it, guys. Think of where can you get these at? Again, online. You can go into stores. You can go into Kohl's. You can go into outlet malls. There's a lot of different ways to do this. Okay.
Yeah, you can get in cheap like Ross and TJ Maxx. Follow us.
Yeah, Marshalls.
Get the discount stuff. Just get started.
Yeah.
I mean, just even merchant fulfill stuff that's on the shelf that you know is. I mean, I don't want to, you know, give any bad advice and merchant fulfill something you don't have on hand, but
yeah,
Walmart keeps the same stock for an entire season. Just throw it up there, merchant fulfilled, and keep a list spreadsheet, you know, and make sure you take it down after a short period of time. Just test the waters. If it sells, go grab it.
Yeah. I mean, you know, what I got so excited about when I got Ungated here was the opportunities to multi-channel fulfill. I do sell on eBay. I do sell on my own e-commerce site. So what this did for me is I was able to take these products that I was selling on other platforms. I finally got into Amazon with them, and I could sell, even though they're at Amazon's warehouse, and maybe I'm not selling 100 a day. Maybe my item doesn't sell, you know, maybe it's every 3-4 days it sells, but on my other platforms they sell. So with the multi-channel fulfillment, it's so easy. I mean, it's literally a click of a button, guys. Enter in your customer's information, and boom. So if you can tackle that, especially if you're doing clothing, actually with any of these categories, you can do it and piggyback it, multi-channel fulfill it off of eBay, Etsy, your own e-commerce sites, whatever it is, right? You can even do a local Facebook group. I mean, if you want to sell Doc Martin shoes to people, right? It's crazy, the potential. And at the end of the day, when you look at FBA, it goes back to what I've said since day one. You know, with me, this is why I like it. It frees my time up. I don't have to now mess with the packaging. I don't have to deal with the customer, right? I mean, I put stuff in a box. It goes in the box. It goes there. And then they just give me a check. You know, I love it. So
that's another thing with Amazon for selling new stuff. It comes back more often not than in the bag already. Return does. So it just goes right back in your inventory and it's ready to sell again. Gets sold the next week.
Yeah, and that's the benefit because, like, I mean, comparing, you know, yourself, what you're saying there, Brandon, with the, you know, these people, you're going to get returns. With clothing and anything like that, whether it's shoes, you're going to get a return. You know, people like to try things on. And, you know, if you've been doing clothing, whether it's used clothing, you understand this. It's part of the game. But, like Brandon has said, it's coming back. It's already wrapped. It's ready to go back in the system, right? With eBay, you sell a pair of shoes to somebody, you bring it back. Yeah, you have to go back and relist it and do all the 9 yards. But maybe they wore the shoes for 3 days. You know what I mean? Or like, I mean, today I got burned on a blazer, $400 blazer, sold it, and the guys actually messaged me and said, "I love it," and he said he wore it out. And then 2 days later, he's like, "Yeah, I need to return it."
That's why I'm worried about that Carter's outfit. $150. They're probably just going to put it on their kid for Easter and send it back.
Yeah, I mean, it's possibilities like that. Stuff like that happens. Deal with it. You know, it's part of the business. I mean, getting frustrated over it is all it's going to do is going to drain your energy level, and you're going to get upset and go, "Oh," you're going to get frustrated. You just got to learn to say, "Okay, you know what? It's a return. I got to refund them." And with Amazon, they just refund. You really have no, you know, you can't fight them. You could try, but
yeah, on FBA, you don't even think about it. It just happens, and you just go on with your day.
Yep,
it gets reloaded automatically.
It's crazy.
Somebody asked about what the website was. I clicked it off on accident. My website is www.demystify101.com.
And we'll have links to stuff like that. We're gonna do a whole Q&A after this here, for sure. Let me get through this here. That way we can get to a lot of your questions, because that's really where we want to be at. We want We want to give you the information, then we want to hear your questions. We want to see, we want to give you as much information as we can, honestly. I mean, we're here privately talking about this, and we're going to share anything we can with you. But let me tell you my quick story. We kind of talked about it before. But since I got ungated in these categories, guys, I mean, increased profit, more opportunities. I mean, more opportunities that I can't even go into telling you how many opportunities there are right now with clothing. It's just, it's mind-blowing, right? And you just have to understand it. You have to know, okay, oh yeah, I see it. Once you see the opportunity, you'll be thinking the same way I am, right? Selling items, like I said, on eBay for higher ROI, I can multi-channel fulfill. So, that was the big thing for me, was freeing up my time, letting Amazon multi-channel fulfill the stuff. And the other thing too is, if you've been following me for a while, obviously t-shirts. I got my own brand t-shirts. I got my own name brands. I got my own graphics. Then I buy shirts from wholesalers. I buy shirts from suppliers, local artists. And now I can finally get those designs, right, on Amazon. It's beautiful for me. I mean, so really, I mean, I'm scaling like never before. And that's the most important thing. With any business, whether you're thrifting, you're eBaying, you're Amazon, you have to scale. You got to think, how am I going to get bigger? How am I going to get better? How am I going to make more money? At the end of the day, that's the most important thing, right? And I'm telling you, it's these gated categories to get into. You'll start to realize at the end of the day, there's very little competition. And, like anything, though, you've got to try it. You got to see what happens with it. And for the prices in terms of going out and sourcing some of this product, you need to have a little capital, right? Obviously, the get ungated, you need to have some money to pay for the service for sure. But, if you've got $5 to your name, this is not for you. If you've got some money laying around, and I'm not saying you need to have millions, go out and do it. Because if you can turn around and get, like, for example, like this hat I always wear, and then you can see it. It's a Stetson hat, okay? I got these on clearance, brand new with tags, $3, right? $3 for these hats. I know you're saying, wait, whoa, Mike, how are you getting those? There's ways, guys. I'm telling you, there's ways. $3, you sell for $45. They have the price tags on them, like MSRP 60. So there's ways to get the stuff. You just got to get creative. But really, at the end of the day, kind of stay away from the competition is the biggest thing I could say for sure. I mean, Brandon, what would you say with this? Getting ungated. What's the big takeaway? Staying away from competition, higher ROI.
Yeah, like I said, that it's so hard to get past the gate for most people. There's very little competition that I could see right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like Amazon's catalog is growing like crazy right now for clothing. People are coming in buying there like crazy. I don't know the percentages. We should look into that because it is getting crazy over there.
Yeah, I mean it's like a good crazy.
I see the Ross that you got on the screen right now. I see those for $6.99, $5.99.
Mm-hmm.
They come with the shorts or the sweats.
Yeah, I mean here. I mean these are kids. These are youth sizes. Look at the prices, guys. That's not even Amazon Prime. 2 reviews. This stuff. Everything I'm going to show you here. I'm going to show you some stuff that you can flip. Right. Give you some ideas. Get you thinking. Brandon said. Ross has got these. Right. TJ Maxx, Marshalls. You'll start to see some of this stuff. Now, again, I'm going to kind of emphasize on this. If you want to do clothing and you want to get ungated, you just can't walk around with your phone and Profit Band or the Amazon Seller app and start scanning clothing. I mean, you could try it. You could definitely try that.
You got to type it in most of the time. Most of the time, barcodes won't come up.
Yep.
You have to literally type in. You might even have to get like real root words like Disney, Frozen, and then hoodie or sweatshirt. Leave all the rest of that out and then go search it and then add in keywords slowly like blue or something because you're not going to find it very easily.
But like this one here, this one's ranked, I believe, 4,000 on Amazon clothing, which is pretty incredible. And here, look at the opportunity. I mean, if you came in at $65 or $60 Prime, I guarantee you'll sell it, right? Again, it's sourcing product that obviously has name brand appeal. Stuff that people are looking for is plus, right? But if you've got your own brand or you're doing a private label, there's ways to market that and get it to where it needs to be. But what I'm kind of showing you here right now, guys, is just some stuff that you can find tomorrow morning. Honestly, I know I talked about this recently, IZ boxers. Okay. Obviously, there's other people selling this, not that many. It's got great reviews. It's only got 2. But the rank, again, I think if you go look this up right now, I want to say it's ranked 1,000. Okay. And the price points are all over the place. Size small, $15, $16 for 3. But 2XL, XL, 3XL, it's up to $50, $60, and people are buying it. That's the craziness. So yeah, boxers sell, underwear sells, all these different things. Once you're ungated, you're in, right? I mean, Brandon, once you're ungating clothing, there's no really restrictions. You could sell shorts, T-shirts, blouses, women's clothing.
Yeah. Socks and underwear and stuff like that are the replens of this category, clothing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you
buy socks and underwear like more than they do regular clothes.
That's amazing. And you got to think again, what do people need? And people need the consumables. They need their socks, they need their underwear. Then there's a whole other level of maybe somebody just wants to go on Amazon and buy a $300 Robert Graham shirt or a $200 Robert Graham belt. It happens all day long, all day long. It's just you got to really dive yourself into it. What I would suggest is if this is interesting to you, you're like, yeah, I could see myself doing this and making good money. First off, the returns are there. You got to find the right product. Second is just browse through the catalog on clothing. So start typing in men's shirts, dress shirts, polos. Start looking at the brands, and then you'll start to see the reviews. You'll see people are buying them. The rank's good, and then the next question is, now where do I get it at? And there's ways to find that out for sure. So yeah, here these IZ boxers are pretty nice. Got 2 more I want to show you guys just to kind of get you brainstorming, really. Okay, Star Wars T-shirts. Star Wars is obviously the new movie's coming out at the end of the year. Obviously, T-shirts sell on Amazon. They sell everywhere. Here, 84 customer reviews. This thing's ranked, I believe, like 82. Okay, and these are shirts that you can literally find at big box retail stores, right?
That's a bad listing. There's so much more you could do with these listings. Why put Star Wars T-shirt and Star Wars logo? Pretty obvious already. You want to give people a lot more information than that when you're trying to sell something. You need to be a salesman. You got to have like heavyweight material and then add a benefit behind that. Like, why would you want heavyweight material? It's extra soft. Good for the summer. It's good for the winter, I should say.
And you're talking about the keywords, right? You're talking about the bullet points.
Yeah, there's so much more you could do that listing optimization, and I go over all that in the group also. So
yeah, and that's important because here machine wash. Well, I hope so. I'm not going to wear this once and then just wear it dirty every time. Can I wash them?
Cracks me up. I can see some women like in the machine wash in there, but the one that cracks me up is imported. Like, why would you care?
Yeah, if it's made in China, nobody needs to read
most
that.
Stuff is imported, isn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy. But here, you can fancy it up, doctor it. Anytime, like Brandon said, you could doctor this up and make it look pretty. You're putting lipstick on it, really what this is you're putting lipstick on a pig, okay? This is a $6, $7 shirt at Walmart that it sells for $25. Is that fair to say that? That's what you're doing with Amazon?
Convince the customer to buy yours over because they're price comparing and they're comparing to other products. They're not just looking at that one.
Mm-hmm.
You want to entice them to your listing.
Yep. So there's that one there, guys. And then this final one here before we kind of get into some other stuff here. Nike socks. Okay. Again, you can go look at the Marshalls, the TJ Maxxes, maybe Nike outlet malls. Okay. Lots of potential there. These, $3.99. I sold a bunch of these and $20. They just got checked in. They were done. It was a no-brainer. I wish I had more. Right. Because you'll start to find some of these things, especially at like the Rosses and TJ Maxx's, these discounted stores for a name brand, what their inventory is what they have. So you get it. Maybe you drive around and find more of those stores and hope that you find some of these and just kind of keep moving forward. You dabble in any of that, Brandon? Is that what you're, I know you do the kind of the Rosses and TJ Maxx. This isn't a forever replenishable, right?
Yeah, because I'm trying to build up a ton of inventory.
Mm-hmm.
Socks are big replenishable. I concentrate on socks a lot, especially at TJ Maxx and Ross, because typically you find one-offs or maybe like that frozen design.
Mm-hmm.
You might find one of those, or you might find 3 in 3 different sizes, but you're not going to find a whole rack full But socks, you're more apt to find, a whole box full or a whole shelf full.
Yeah, I mean, it's opportunity, guys, for you to think out there and think differently for sure. So Brandon, let's get into some juicy stuff here. Let's get into, kind of what your service entails and what you do. We talked a little bit about that, but maybe kind of go over some pricing. Like I said, guys, we're gonna jump off this and we're gonna do another Q&A. It's gonna be another free spirited type of thing, and we're gonna be doing some giveaways. Brandon's actually gonna give away full Ungating to one of you guys tonight, so that's pretty cool. But Brandon, if you can kind of pimp your stuff, man, pimp it.
Yeah, I'm going to give away access to the group. Like I said, I could do it for you guys, but you're missing out on so much more. And the group is basically geared towards tutorials, write-ups, and screen sharing classes where I teach you the flat file. You want to add product, and you even listing a product or adding a variation to somebody else's. That information just isn't out there, and I have it all in one place in the Facebook group. Access is normally $250. The website is www.demystify101.com, and there's some tiers for I ungate you in clothing and let you in the Facebook, because I get requests, somebody wants to get into clothing in a hurry, and then you have the support of the group afterwards in case you need the answer to all those questions when you go to list. So you pay to get ungated, and then you're fully supported, which is no other ungating service is going to support you after they get you through the gate. They're not going to answer your questions.
That's
in fact, quite a few of those services I work with, and they send people off with those questions to me. So.
That's huge. I mean, they're that busy, or they're that not caring. I mean, what I know about Brandon is he cares, right? So if you send him a message, he's going to get back to you. He'll take his time with you. I mean, obviously everybody's time is valuable for sure, but Brandon, he's stand up. I mean, you can bounce things off him. I mean, that's what the Facebook group is there for, and the videos, and then when he does the walkthrough tutorials. I mean, so like I said, I mean, this has changed my life for sure in terms of my business, my reselling business, and I couldn't have done it without you. There's no doubt about it.
Right.
So
yeah, you got denied a few times on the questionnaire alone, huh?
Yeah,
and that's just when you go in and you type Amazon Ungating, find clothes, say you want to get in clothes, you click into that. I mean, you're presented with a whole bunch of questions, and if you answer one of those wrong in Amazon's eyes, you get denied right there. So that's one thing I have in the group. I have every single question, every single answer. And then I have a recommended answer why you should pick a certain one, because if you want to be truthful, you might pick a certain answer that's going to get you denied, and I explain why you shouldn't pick that one. So like I said, it's like a job interview. You're trying to sell yourself to Amazon, and they literally expect that you have that stuff on hand, that you purchase it during the ungating process. But we kind of work around all that, where you can source from Google or Amazon to fill out these flat files. I teach you what brands you should use or should not use, because I have been asked for receipts before. Typical counterfeited high-end brands that stay away from. And there's a bunch of do's and don'ts for each sell that, as soon as you request approval, they're going to give you this long list of stuff, of required fields in the spreadsheet that you got to come put information into. And the information for your product is just spread out everywhere, and it's just information overload. It's crazy. So, we go over the do's and don'ts, and dotting the I's, crossing the T's, even how to structure a title properly. Most listings on Amazon that I come across, they're not even compliant to what Amazon is looking for. They want a brand name before color, well, that's obvious, but the product name before the color, or the size before the color. And if you're flip-flopping that around during the ungating process, they're going to kick it back at you. It might take 3 days for another rep to look at it. That's another thing. Every time you make a revision, most of the time another rep's going to look at it the next time you upload it back to Amazon. And if you don't know what you're doing, and you're making changes to this thing, it could take weeks to get past it if you don't have some help. some people a little smarter than others, and they got all the time in the day to spend 10 hours a day on this for a few days and get it done. Other people don't have the time. Parent-child relationships is the whole foundation of flat files. A parent holds all the variations together. A variation is a size or a color, for example. A variation could be anything, could come with accessories. But in these categories in particular, it's typically size and color. I go over how to understand that, how it comes together in the flat file. Understanding shoe sizes, because it's not just 12. You might wear a size 12 shoe, but that's not how it is on Amazon. Shoes come in all kinds of codes for different widths, for different countries.
Mm-hmm.
So got a breakdown of that. Browse tree guide, which is, like I said before, you could try to list this a piece of clothing through Seller Central at a product page. Very limited in categories right off the bat. This browse tree guide that they give you gives you all the categories that you can fall under. And the more targeted you get for a category, the more apt you're going to sell your product, if it's in the right spot. We reverse engineer a list. We just go to a product on Amazon, look at the information, and then we just take it into the flat file as an example of, you know what a product looks like. Well, now you know what it looks like in the flat file. So we just strip it down piece by piece. Just anything we could do to help you understand how to fill out a flat file. Because like I said, as soon as you get the instructions and all the stuff that goes with it, it's just information overload. It's color coded, and there's a bunch of stuff you don't know everywhere, and it's just craziness. So anything I could do to break it down, and I've got a lot of clever different ways to show people how to fill this stuff out. And listing optimization is another thing. Even after you're ungated, for ungating, you want to give the minimal amount of information that you can, because the more information you give, the more apt you're going to get a mistake and kicked back at you, where you have to wait after you correct it, have to wait a couple of days till another rep looks at it. So the less information you give for ungating, the better. Whereas after ungating, the more information you give, the better. The more information you have in your listing, the more you're going to pop up in search. The more sales you're going to make, the more somebody's going to pick your product over somebody else's. So we're going to go over that, listing optimization. That's up and coming, because we've been concentrating on the flat files so much. I haven't got to that, but I've been dropping it in little by little in the group. Like I said,
lots of great stuff, guys. I mean, Brandon knows what he's doing with this. I mean, it's not, like I said, he guides you through what needs to be done, and there's a lot of intricate stuff going on, and my time's valuable, and he helped me go through it. Do I understand what's going on? Yeah, I guess I do, right? But like I said, I've been denied 4 times, and if it wasn't for Brandon, I mean, I'd still be sitting there not selling Amazon clothing, So, all right, guys, this is going to kind of wrap it up. I did post something in the Facebook group. You can go check it out. It's going to be the next part of this Zoomcast. So it's going to be the Q&As. We're going to do some giveaways. Just basically sign out of here and then jump into that other one. We'll be in there in about 2 minutes. It's going to go back on at 8 o'clock. We'll answer any questions you have. Again, you can jump on and actually communicate with us. You can go through the chat. You'll see everybody else in the chat. Ask any questions for sure. You can also, if you want to be on the air or on camera, that option's there too. You can also call. There's a phone number there. You can call. If you got a question, we're happy here to answer it. We'll probably spend another 20 minutes, 30 minutes talking about all this stuff still, and getting you guys there. So, yeah, thanks, Brandon.
They might want to go into settings first. There's a thing, because a lot of people don't know it defaults to camera on. I think it's mic off, camera on.
Mm-hmm.
So when you come into that link, expect that your camera is just going to come flying on. So if you're sitting there in your underwear, be prepared for it. Make your camera go in the air, or go in the settings and turn the default off.
Yeah, good point. Because
in the bottom left-hand corner of the Zoom window, there's going to be icons for the mic with a red line through it. So it's going to be off, and then your camera icon is probably going to be on. You can just click those to toggle them on and off.